Dear viewer, I must welcome you to this lesson that we are going to be discussing one of the subtopics taught in the primary 4 class that you are in. And in this lesson, we are going to be looking at the topic, how to meet people's needs in our district. That is, in that topic, we have a subtopic that is social services. Social services. Today, having realized that you must have learned about other social services, if we are to give examples, we must have talked about social services like education services, education service, or we can call it education services. We have health services. We have transport service. Transport. We can have security. We can have housing services. Housing services. We have water supply. We have banking services. We have very many. We have communication services. And other examples of social services. These social services, we must have also learned them in our primary 3 class. So when we talk about social services, it is not something which is very new to us. That's why I want us to first of all understand that we are going to be looking at these social services that people in our district access. Now, by definition, we must have defined that these social services are provided by either the government or the non-governmental organizations to meet people's needs or for people to live a better life. We define social services as services provided to the people by either the government or non-governmental organizations in order for people to live a better life. And in this lesson, we are going to discuss strictly this social service, that is banking services. That is what our lesson is going to be based on. We must have finished to talk about education, we must have finished to talk about health, transport, and others. Today, we are going to talk about banking services as provided to the people in our district. So, we are going to have our subheading as banking services. Now, when we have a heading like this, there is one thing that we need to understand. One, there is a definition. What do we mean by banking? What do we mean by banking? Banking is a system of keeping money safely in the bank. Banking is a system of keeping money safely in a bank. This is the definition of banking. The system of keeping money safely in a bank. Therefore, we have got another term that we are going to understand, and that is bank. What is a bank? So our next term for us to define is a bank. What is a bank? So a bank simply means a place where we keep our money safely. That is how simple we can define a bank. A bank is a place where we can say where people keep their money safely. That is the simple definition for a bank, a place where people keep their money safely. Remember, we have begun from banking, which we have said is a system of keeping money safely in a bank. And we have said a bank is now that place where this money is kept safely from. Now, having understood that, we are going to look at the banks that we have in our district. We have very many banks and very many types of banks. Let's have our subheading, types of banks. Types of banks. Now, in these types of banks, we are going to have one, we have the central bank. We have the central bank. This central bank, we can also call it the national bank. National bank. National bank. And this is, for Uganda, this is the bank that we call Bank of Uganda. So we are going to term this Bank of Uganda. This is abbreviated as BOU. That is Bank of Uganda. So when we are asked to write this abbreviation in full in our class, BOU, write BOU in full, then you need to note that that is Bank of Uganda. That is the very bank that you have called the central bank or the national bank. 2, we are going to have development banks. Development banks. We have development banks. Then we have savings and credit cooperatives. Savings and credit cooperatives. Sorry. This is what we write in short as SACCOs. Savings and credit cooperatives. We write it in short as SACCOs. It is another type of banks. Then number 4, the other ones we have what we call forex bureaus. Forex bureaus. Then we have what we call commercial banks. We also have what we call commercial banks. So those are the types of banks that we have in Uganda, in our district. Now, one thing we need to note is these banks are all under the national bank that we talked about here. We say there is what we call a national bank. We have the national bank, that is the central bank, which is for the whole country. And we have said it is called the Bank of Uganda. So we shall be understanding that all these other banks are under the central bank that we have called the Bank of Uganda. So let's write something about Bank of Uganda. Bank of Uganda. That we say it can be written as, in short, as BOU. So the Bank of Uganda is the main bank. Is the main bank in Uganda. It's the main, or we can say it is the national bank. The national bank of Uganda. The other thing we need to note is that this bank is headed by a person who is given the title as a governor. Did you know that? The title given to a person heading the central bank is governor. So we are going to have another sentence that the title given to the head of the Bank of Uganda is a governor. Take note of the word governor. Governor, it is G-O-V-E-R-N-O-R. Governor, N-O-R, not E. We need to take serious note of that. So that is the point that we have got in our lesson again. The title that is given to this person who heads the Bank of Uganda, we have said this person is given the title a governor. Then he can be having his or her name, but that is what we call a title. Now, what does this Bank of Uganda do? Roles played by the Bank of Uganda. Roles played by the Bank of Uganda. Remember, whenever we talk about the Bank of Uganda, we are referring to the commercial bank, I mean the central bank, that we also call the national bank. Roles played by the Bank of Uganda. One, this bank is responsible for printing, so you can say to print new currency. To print new currency. To print new currency. When we talk about currency, in case you don't understand what we are meaning, we are meaning money. To print money. That is the simple understanding you can get in case currency is, this is supposed to be currency. In case currency is disturbing, it means maybe you fail understanding. That is what I have said, it means money. So we need to understand that for us in Uganda, our currency, our money is in shillings. So we call it Uganda shillings. That is the currency for Uganda. Uganda shillings. In case you are asked, what is the currency for Uganda? It is Uganda. This currency, this money for Uganda, comes in very many forms, as I said. One, it comes in paper or notes. You must have understood paper money. When we talk about paper money, of course that one you know. An example is when we talk about paper money, we are looking at money like I have here. This is what we call paper money. You can have a look at it. I know you must have touched this, you must have seen it. You'll find that this money is in different denominations. When I talk about denominations in money, I mean it like there is a note, or there's paper money for 1,000, there is paper money for 5,000, then we go to 10,000, this is 10,000, I did not move with the other. Then you can have also from 10,000 you go to 20,000, then from 20,000 you can have 50,000. That is so far the biggest denomination as in money. So you will find that all this money, when you look at it properly, you will find that you will see the writing Bank of Uganda. I challenge you, get your paper money at home if you are having it, or in your pocket if you have one, check. You will find there Bank of Uganda, which means this money is for Uganda and is printed by the Bank of Uganda. When we go to the coins, let me keep this one, it's mine. When we go to the coins, you will find that even the coins, because we have the money also printed in form of coins, you will find that, I know you must have used coins for buying very many things, you must have used for buying ice cream, very many things that you love. Now when it comes to coins, you will find that we begin with the 50 shilling coins, it's there. Then you go to 100 shilling coins, those are denominations in money, as in coins. From 100, there is a one of 200. I will be asking you to tell the features that are found on each coin. I know you have those coins. You check. When you check on the coin, you'll find that there is the tail and the head of the coin. The tail is that part which has got the crescent coin, the coat of arms. So you'll find that one side is having the crescent, the coat of arms, then one side is having the feature. For example, if you looked at a coin of 200 shillings, you will find that the other side has got the coat of arms. Coat of arms, that is crested crane and the comb, the shield in the middle, that's called the coat of arms. Then the other side, you will see there is that fish, that is for the 200 shilling coin. That coat of arms is standing as the national, it's like the symbol of, it is one of the symbols of Uganda as a nation. You will learn that when you go to the next class. It acts as the national seal for the country. That is why that coat of arms is there. So we have understood that the money which is printed by the Bank of Uganda comes in two forms. One, it comes in paper form. Then two, it comes in a coin form. Both these forms are used. The same values or the same way you would use the paper money is the same way you will use the coins. There is no difference. Now, this money is supposed to be used as what we call legal tender, meaning as a medium of exchange. In that if there is something you want to buy, you will have to go with your money, then you will give the person and you will get what you want. That's what we call exchange, a medium of exchange of goods. So that is about printing currency. Then two, this bank is also responsible for regulating, that is, you can say, to regulate other banks. To regulate other banks, which means you will find that we had other banks, other types of banks, development banks, savings and credit cooperatives. We talked about the forest bureaus, we talked about the commercial banks. So this national bank or Bank of Uganda is also responsible for regulating other banks. We have written it saying to regulate other banks. Then it is also responsible, or its other role is to control money, in circulation. To control the money in circulation. Then it also gives loans to these other banks. To give loans to other banks, like commercial banks. Can give an example. To give loans to commercial banks. We shall come to understand what are these commercial banks. To give loans to commercial banks and also to license new banks that are coming up in the country. So these are the roles which, among others, are played by the Bank of Uganda as the main bank for Uganda. Now, let's go and look at if we are asked to look at or to tell the importance of the Bank of Uganda. Of course, the importance are the roles already. Some of them fall here. one, to print money, or you say the Bank of Uganda helps in printing money, that is an importance. Two, the Bank of Uganda it keeps very important minerals like gold can be kept by that one. Now there is a very big difference in what we are going to discuss. We have the Bank of Uganda, and then we have what we call the commercial banks. Let's first talk about commercial banks. So in our next heading, we are going to discuss commercial banks. Now, these commercial banks, we are going to give the examples of commercial banks, and I'm quite sure this is not sounding new to you. You must have also learned about these commercial banks in the previous class. So we are going to go through them. We have banks like Stanbic Bank. Stanbic. Take serious note of the spelling. Stanbic Bank. We have EcoBank. We have Diamond Trust Bank. We can have Equity Bank. We have DFCU, Bank of Africa. Please give me more. Bank of Africa, Bank of Baroda. Bank of Baroda, and very many others. Please, there are very many banks. So we are having these as the examples of commercial banks. Now, we are going to understand how important are these commercial banks to the people. Now, these commercial banks deal directly with the people in our district, whereas the Bank of Uganda deals with these banks. That is the difference that we are going to have. That's why when we come to look at the importance, let's write them, importance of commercial banks. Importance of commercial banks. When we come to importance, one, these banks help to keep people's money safely. They keep people's money. They keep people's money safely. Which means we need to understand that these are the ones that keep people's money, not the central bank, not the Bank of Uganda. The Bank of Uganda deals with this, and these are the ones now that deal with the people now. So the commercial banks are the ones where people can now take their money and they bank there. Then two, these banks employ people, which means these commercial banks create jobs for the people in our district. An example, when you go to a commercial bank, you will find that when you reach the bank, you will find the first person there, the first worker, we call them employees. First employee you will meet is, for example, you will meet the askari at the gate. So it means that person is employed there because of that commercial bank. Meaning if that bank was not there, then that person will not be employed. So as you proceed, you will meet other people. We have the cashiers, the tellers, the bank managers, very many people at that bank. So that one confirms to us that these banks provide jobs to the people. Then three, these banks offer. If you can't write offer, you can say these banks provide provide loans. We have talked about jobs. Now we are talking about loans. They offer, or you say they provide loans to people. So you will find that if there is someone who wants to increase on his business, one can go and apply for a bank loan, and a person will be able or will be given the loan, and he goes to use it and will be returning it slowly, and you will find that people will be able to develop and they will be helped by these banks. So we need to understand for that point that the banks, these commercial banks, provide loans to the people who are in our district. Then also, we have some people who keep their important documents in these commercial banks. They are important documents that one might be risking staying with in the house. For example, one can be having his land certificate, one can be having his maybe marriage certificate, his academic papers. It is very safe for one to take those papers and he keeps them in these banks. So for that we shall get another answer here. We shall say these commercial banks keep people's important documents. So apart from keeping money, we are also understanding that they can also keep people's what? Important documents. So these are some of the advantages. Even giving financial advice to people can also be a correct answer. These commercial banks offer, or you say they give financial advice to people. They give financial advice to people. I want to come back and say something about employment. We always make a mistake when we are asked a question. Now, we have some people who are already having their jobs, but still a bank can help them. For example, one can ask a question that how are commercial banks important to traders? How are commercial banks important to traders? Now, in our understanding, we know very well that a trader is a business person. This is someone who deals with buying his goods and he sells, he gets a profit. So this trader cannot again go and be employed in a bank. Sometimes children make that error. When they ask such a question, you will know that this trader will not go and get employment or a job. Instead, he can now go to one, to get a loan, to increase on his or her business. That one comes in now. We'll talk about others. Two, this trader can be taking his money or her money to keep in the bank. So when you are asked for, when such questions are asked, don't again talk about getting jobs. That one will not be correct. Others can be like farmers. How are commercial banks important to farmers? Please, these are already people who are having their jobs. So you can't again say commercial banks give farmers loans, or give farmers jobs, or provide farmers with jobs. No, they cannot again leave their farming and they go there to work in the banks. But the best answers now, they can now go and keep their money. They can now go and get more loans for their farm activities. So that is what we need to know as we are talking about commercial banks. For now, due to the interest of time, we can end our lesson at that. In case there is something that you can go back and watch the video, and always subscribe for more of the videos, for more lessons, because we need to understand all the things. Today we have been talking about commercial banks, and I want to remind you that as being one of the social services provided by the government or non-government organizations, we have understood it very well. We shall be looking at another social service when we meet again. Thank you. Have a good time.